Hey there folks, got a new knife for you. So this is Dalibor Bergam's Draco. If you guys are on the list for Dalibor's knives, he's closely finishing them off, and you should be getting yours shortly. I want to say I had about an 8-month wait for this knife. Actually, my original order was for the Regulus, and since I've been hanging out with the Wieners and Steel guys, I got to check out, and Brian Dunn, I got to check out Fast Bandit's Regulus, and then I got to check out B. Dunn's, I think he has also the Draco. No, does he have the Draco? He might have the Series, or he has everything. He might have them all. But when I felt the Regulus, I thought it was way too big for my hand, and you know, a man's got to know his limitations. So I contacted Dalibor, and I asked him if I can change from the Regulus to the Draco, and he definitely was very accommodating. He's one of those guys that you can talk to, you can email, and he'll respond back right away. I'm not even like thinking of like the time zone, the time difference, because he's in Croatia. I shoot him an email, and it seems like every time I shoot him an email, he responds right back. I mean, it could be midnight over there and morning here. I'm not really sure the time difference, but he definitely accommodated me. So because I made the switch, sometimes when you make a switch with a knife maker for a different model, it kind of sets you back. So I don't know if that worked to my advantage, or he just goes where you are on the listing, your position. But this was right on time. In fact, it was sooner because I made the change in the order. I thought, wow, it's going to take a little bit longer. But this actually came sooner than I expected, I'll just say. Yeah, very informative. Answers all my emails. Just awesome. Just seems like a really nice person. Good gentleman there. Little history, not history, but I asked him, you know, he's got some cool names for his knives. He's got the Regulus, the Sirius, the Draco, the Pollux, and the Caster. The Caster is actually the next knife I have on order with him. And so I shot him an email, and Dalibor basically said he's a huge astronomy fan. He loves UFO and alien sci-fi stuff, so that's where he got the inspiration to name his knives. He named his first knife the Regulus, which is the brightest star in the Leo constellation. It's one of the brightest stars in the night sky, and I guess being it's his first knife, he gave it such an appropriate name because the Regulus definitely is the star of his knife lineup, and everybody loves that Regulus. And then for his second knife, he went with something a little more user size friendly, EDC, let's say EDC friendly. So it's a little bit smaller than the Regulus. And since he picked the first one, the Regulus, he named it after a star. He named this also, the series, after another star, which is the brightest star in the sky, the Sirius. It's derived from the Greek word Sirios. I think I'm from my Greek fans out there. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But it basically means glowing or scorcher. And then he made the Draco, which is also after a constellation in the northern sky. But Draco in Latin, or Draco as Fast Bandit likes to pronounce it, I'm not really sure the correct way to pronounce it. I tend to think it's Draco, but it means dragon in Latin. Or as Dalibor told me, it's known as the constellation of evil aliens. How befitting is that? It kind of does look like a dragon. And then he made the smaller, the two knives that he's making, the recent additions, the Pollux and the Caster. Those are his Warney folders, and he named that after the Gemini constellation, the two stars in that constellation. So it's the Pollux and the Caster. Little, in case you guys didn't know, I didn't know I had to. I mean, I guess I could have just Googled it and stopped being lazy, but instead I emailed Dalibor and asked him. I tell you, he responded right away. So this is the Draco. You've seen a few videos on it. Give you quick specs on it. Overall length is 8.25 inches. The blade is 3 inches. The titanium thickness is, the blade thickness is 0.220 inches. The blade steel is CPM, damn it. The blade steel is CPM 3V. I hate this My camera stand always gets in the way when I'm flipping knives. The scale thickness on a titanium is 0.187 inches, and the weight, it is weighty. It's 8 ounces. 8 ounces. Basically, everything on this knife is made by Dalibor except for the M3 screws right here for the standoffs and the ceramic detent ball. This does have a ceramic detent ball, which makes it super smooth. It's brand new, so he did tell me that it does have a breaking in period, so I just got it 2 days ago, so I'm still breaking it. And you can, I don't know if you can see my thumb here. Oh, that's too bright. Yeah, that's from opening a lock. It kills me, but it's a labor of love. I just have to do it. I have to break it in. I have to break it in. So I opted for the sculpted handles. And you can see, let's see some close-ups here. Some macros. Look at the work, the finishing work on that, on the clip, the tie clip. The handle. He anoded gold. Just really beautiful work. As a stonewash the blade. You see his logo right there. DB. So, like I was saying, everything on this knife is basically made by Dalibor except for, again, the screws and the ceramic detent ball. The standoffs are titanium, handmade by Dalibor. The blade stop is also titanium. What else? The thumb studs are titanium. And the reason he does that is so it's titanium on titanium and it won't deform, or it will less likely deform. Isn't that interesting? The pivot is hardened stainless steel, which he does make, but you know, it's not titanium. He decided he wanted to go with the hardened stainless steel because he found it was a little smoother and a lot tougher. So I went with that. I'm not sure if my knife is carbonized. It does have a little stick, but I have noticed that it's breaking in nicely since, you know, when I first got it. I mean, the other day it locked up so hard I couldn't even open it. But I can see that it's breaking in nicely. Yeah. Let's do some macros on it. I love this thumb hole on Brian's Fast Bandits Regulus. It's circular. This is really very functional. Makes it very simple to open. Really nice. And again, some guys have said that it is true that the jimping on the handle is a lot softer, but when you get on the blade, this 3V steel, it definitely gets more aggressive. You definitely feel it. Very aggressive. And I got medium-sized hands, that's why I went with this. If I got the Regulus, that sucker would be sticking out this far. It just would not fit my hand. This thing's perfect. You know, I can hold it here, and it's just good size. I can hold it. I can choke up a little higher on this choil here, and it still doesn't stick out so much. You know, it just for me it's a good size. Like Frucci, he needs the Regulus. You know, for those Andre the Giant hands, you know, this would look. He'd probably swallow this whole grip. But for me, it fits perfect. I'm glad, and this is the benefits of hanging out at Wieners and Steel with guys like Brian Dunn and Barry and Jeff and Fast Bandit and Menavade and Lee, who comes and brings us knives. Get to check it out for free. You know, like I said, when I was hanging out with Knife Thursday, it's very rare that I get to examine a knife before I buy it. Usually, I just order it online, and then boom, it shows up. You know. And then I find out if I'm lucky or if I'm happy with it or if I'm not. But because we got this Wieners and Steel, guys want to come over, hang out with us, showcase their knives, and I get to check them all out. You know, that's how I found out about Jeremy Robertson, the El Patron. You know, I always thought it was a cool knife. And when Barry brought it over and then Brian brought his over, it's like, wow, I got to get one of those. You know? So it's pretty neat. And with Nick, he's the one to introduce me to, God, I'm drawing a blank here. Oh my God. Yeah, the knife I just got. Jeez, what is that? Man, it'll come to me. I'm fried, tired, long day at work. So let's just check this out. The diarware. My diarware. I've seen the diarware, I've seen videos on it, and the first time I actually got to check out diarware was Nick, when I met him at when he was bringing me a knife that he customized for me, and I saw him at I think it was the New York Custom Knife Show, which I believe that's the first time I met Nick, and he brought me the knife he customized for me. And he had holdback on him, which I've never checked out. He had that on him, and he had the diarware, so pretty neat. So yeah, so let's focus on this. I am so happy. I mean, I brought this to work today like a little kid, you know? Like a little kid after Christmas, you just have to bring it to work, show and tell. I'm flipping it open under my desk so I won't scare the non-knife people. But this is just beautiful. Gorgeous work, Dalibor. Very happy. Very awesome looking. Fit and finish is like perfect. Look how, you know, it's so rock solid. I mean, you can't even see inside this thing. It's so, the tolerance is so tight. There's everything about it is beautiful. It's super sharp. I'm not big on cut tests because when I do a cut test on video, it never happens. But this thing was slicing like no problem. Pretty cool. Yeah, really neat. Hopefully you guys can see that. Close up on it. Everything's there. You got a sharpening choil that ends perfect right there. So when I send this off to Fast Bandit to put a wicked edge on it, I'm just kidding. Maybe not. If Brian's willing to, I would definitely let him put a wicked edge on it. Maybe he just wants to play with this Draco. Not that it needs it because it's super sharp already. Very smooth knife. Let's do a size comparison. It's a little silly to show, but here's my Norseman. Norseman's actually a little bigger. Let me see if I can put it on this way. Norseman's a little bit bigger, but of course it's nowhere near as thick. Let's see if I can show. I picked it because it was a similar color. So, yep. Yeah, Norseman's definitely a little bit longer. There it is. The Draco by Dalibor Bergam. Very, very impressive. I mean, this thing's a tank of a knife. Tank. Just feels good in hand too. No hot spots. Beauty. Alright guys. Peace.